welcome to the show! I'm Wolfie Bane, your host for today, and we are back doing another Pokemon type tier list today. Howdy! Fantastic day, fantastic time, fantastic evening, and a fantastic life right now. Everybody, I'm back, I'm here, and I'm ready to play some video games, or at least talk about some video games. Hi! Howdy! Hope you're having a good day, because I'm having a pretty decent one myself. Bit relaxing, bit of work done. Bit of food cooked and eaten, though I am still quite hungry. And some stuff done. So first, a little announcement, just a little mini announcement. Ooh, that's changed. That's nice. Also, they have apparently updated the Twitch overlays that I use, so that's kind of nice. Hey! But yes, so first up, I updated, and, well, I say updated, I fixed the Twitch subscription alerts for me. So if anyone noticed, basically, a couple of my alerts had been bugging out, essentially, and I wasn't sure why. Turns out I basically hadn't updated my settings for a very long time, and the alert stuff that I used basically had an update where it changed a bunch of my settings, so a bunch of them were just kind of mishmashed together. Most notably, the resub button and the gift sub buttons. Those were the two that had just broken completely. So, now those are the two that have been fixed. So there is a new alert for gifting subscriptions. And there is a new alert for, well, there is, the old alert has been put back for if you have resubbed for 12 months or over. Those have been updated and fixed, because they were an issue and they had bugged out. So now, basically, if you are subscribed for, hey buddy, if you are subscribed for up to 12 months, or I think it's up to, from first sub to 11, you get this classic Wolf Howl, which is famous on this channel. It's a fun one. But if you are subscribed for longer than 12 months, don't believe it has to be in a row, just 12 months in general, then you are going to get one of the two new alerts. And the other one, if you gift any subscriptions at all, you will get the other new alert. They are both back. Also, my god, are they going to make me shit myself when they eventually go off, because they are loud! And yes, today is the Ghost-type Pokemon tier list as well. But yeah, so that was the little announcements. Just some minor changes, but hopefully it should all be working. Also, once again, remember, in addition to it being the sub stuff has been changed, do remember it is September at the moment, so subs are a bit of money off, so it's greatly appreciated. It helps me out, and you get to do it for cheaper. So, it's kind of a win-win. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's get into the actual stream, shall we? Yes, indeed, we are going to be doing the ghost types today, and I'm going to be honest, I fucking love ghost types. Ghosts are one of my favorite types, and I'd say ghost types to me are one of the most consistently good types. There's not many ghosts which I think I dislike, really. Pretty much every ghost in its own right is a pretty good Pokemon. Whether it's just vibes, whether it is actually competitively good, because most of them are pretty good, just competitively in general. Most of them have fantastically good designs, and absolutely slap. I did have to edit this tier list a little bit, due to just, weirdly, a lot of ghost Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon got alternate forms which are ghost types, which the Pokedex itself is a bit different for, essentially. So there's like a lot of regional ones. But a lot of regional ones that evolve into new forms which aren't just a regional version of its evolved form. It's an actually different mon. So I had to do some editing, mostly around Galar for that, like around Gen 8. But yes, I do love ghost types. Ghost types are some absolute all-stars. My mouse is still a little balked. Just so y'all know. But yes, so we got a lot of ghost types. Once again, this list does have Arceus and Silverlay on it. Good shouts. Good shouts indeed. Very good Pokemon, though, but all three of those, honestly. But yeah, let's get into it now with a immediate all-star setup, right? Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, Mega Gengar, and G-Max Gengar, y'all know they're going to get great scores. These are also, just to do the tier list, the names of the tiers, because obviously that's one of the parts that you guys actually show up for these videos, is to see what dumb shit I've named each section. We have S tier, Spooky Scary Skeletons. Because I couldn't resist, honestly. A tier is The Addams Family. The Addams Family, if anyone remembers that. Love that. Love that. Was it shows or movies? I remember watching some movies of it, and I believe I watched some shows of it as well. Everyone loves The Addams Family. It had to be. B is Boo! I couldn't think of anything more. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do the greatest naming conventions on B tier. Sue me. I couldn't think of a better one. Boo is the best I could think of, okay? It's fine. We'll deal with it. C is Casper the Friendly Ghost, if anyone remembers that movie from back in the day. Really had to reach for that one. And D was just Dead on Arrival. Because, as everybody should know by now, because we've done a lot of these tier lists, S tier is obviously the best of the best of the best. A tier is amazing Pokemon. B tier is I like them, they're pretty good. C tier is my average bar. D is I don't like it. And we don't have an E tier on ghost types because pretty much every ghost type is kind of cracked. So, every ghost has at least something going for it, even the ones I don't particularly like. So, there's no E tiers in ghost. We aren't getting to that one. So, first, let's get yourself a drink. But yeah, obviously, y'all know I am a huge fan of Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, and both Mega Gengars, so you're immediately S tier. They are the ghost Pokemon, right? They are the ghosts. The OG ghosts. They're great Pokemon, what can I say? Gengar is an absolute beast. Haunter's awesome. Ghastly's great. You're never unhappy to get these mons, right? I think I said it last week on Poison types when we did the Poison types tier list. You can't not love these mons. They're all great. They are immediate S tiers, every single one of them. You're always happy to see them. If you're going into, like, you gotta catch just a bunch of Pokemon, see what you get, like, completely anything could happen, anything could pop up. But you actually have to beat an opponent, right? I'd say you'd never be upset to find a Ghastly. So you can get up to Gengar, right? I don't think you'd ever be unhappy with that in any way. It's a great mod. I talked about it so much last week. It's a great Pokemon. They're just always amazing. Next up, a Pokemon we haven't talked about for a while, actually. But we did talk about it in some previous episodes. With Alolan Marowak. I gotta say, people know I have a soft spot for Marowak, right? I agree, it is an easy A tier. I am a big, big fan of Marowak. Marowak is just a really fun Pokemon to use. I love that it gets the Thick Club, which effectively gives it huge power. It's got an item that gives it huge power for purposes. It's a good mod. It's got okay bulk. The Ghost Fire type is kind of an interesting little type as well. It's a Ghost Fire type physical attacker. It's got some good moves. It's got a great design. And Marowak itself, the baseline for Marowak is a great design. So, Marowak, for me, easy A tier. It's not quite an S tier. It's not quite an S tier in Ghost. But it is an easy, comfortable A tier. It's a great mon, and I do love it a lot. I said this in the Fire types one. I always have a hard time with getting really high marks on a lot of other Fire types because I love my Fire starters. I usually pick Fire starters. So, meaning that I usually pick Fire starters quite often does mean that a lot of other Fire types will not be as immediately used in a playthrough. But I do like a lot of Fire types. I said that before. Speaking of Fire types and starters, actually, we're going immediately into Hisuian Typhlosion, which I have said before, I will say, Hisuian Typhlosion is better than Typhlosion, right? Pretty much strictly better. I'd say it has a worse ability than Hisuian Typhlosion. I do genuinely like Flash Fire. Over Frisk, I believe it is. Frisk's okay. It's nothing crazy, though, right? It definitely has its uses. But I do really like Hisuian Typhlosion, even if I like it less than regular Typhlosion. I like regular Typhlosion's design more. It's kind of the bulkier, angry Wolverine kind of vibe. Whereas Hisuian Typhlosion is a bit more lithe, it's a bit more calm. Great fire on the neck, though. But I kind of like the more berserk version for regular Typhlosion. But I will say, Hisuian Typhlosion is an amazingly good mon, a very fun one to use. And it's another you're never unhappy about it. So I'm going to give it another comfortable A tier. Behind Marowak, though. I like Marowak a lot as well. Such a cutie, the next one. In my personal opinion, one of the most adorable Pokemon of all time. One of the absolute cuties of Pokemon. Mischievous. I fucking love Mischievous. I'm going to be honest. Mischievous is genuinely, for me, a top pick S tier mon. I think it's so cute. It's really bad. Let's be honest. It is an underrated mod. It is an absolutely underrated mod. But the base form, it's not very good. Let's be honest. It's not very good. It's not bad. I also believe you should be later on. One moment. I missed one thing on the list. Because you should be later on in the decks. 4:30 and you. Okay. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to put these in the correct kind of order. Okay. Okay, so you should be there. Basically, yeah, okay. Yeah, Mischievous is an okay Pokemon. In its own right, it's okay. Gengar is significantly better in terms of actual competitive Pokemon. But, and this is the important part, Mischievous is just such a cutie. I really like it. It's adorable. And adorability gets a lot of points with me, okay? I am a big fan of cool Pokemon. I'm also a big fan of cute Pokemon. So, Mischievous, you get a very, very, very high score from me. Also, possibly due to other reasons later on, which we will go into when we get to a much later generation. Let's be honest. Okay, so now is Galarian Corsola, or British Corsola, meaning it is dead. Look, I mean, I can't help it. She's one of my absolute favorites. But yeah. Galarian Corsola, I have a soft spot for Corsola. People know I have a soft spot for Corsola because, once again, it's a very cute mon. Galarian Corsola isn't as cute as regular Corsola. I will state by saying that. It is, however, significantly better than Corsola. Pumpkaboo is probably getting a good points for being very, very cute, but not as high because there's certain Pokemon which have there's a type of cute which I really, really like. Pumpkaboo isn't cute for me. It is cute, but it's not the right kind of cute. It's still getting a high marks for cuteness, though. I will say that. Cool and cute both get ones. Is whether the cuteness outrides the coolness factor. That's a big one for me. And it's very subjective, obviously. But Cursula, not Cursula, Hisuian Cursula, is Hisuian? No, it's Galarian Cursula. I got there eventually. Galarian Cursula is very, very adorable. It's very, very good. I think it's a little overpowered. Literally this thing is obscene. It's absurdly defensive. Gets crazy moves. This thing becomes an absolute brick shithouse with an EVLite. It is very good, and it is very cute. It's getting a comfortable B tier for me. I think regular Corsola is much cuter. Big one. Big, big one. But Hisuian Corsola is much better in actual competitive Pokemon. So I'd say solid B tier. I like it. It's not one of my favorites, but yeah. Now then. Now fucking then. Okay, guys. I know people love Shedinja, right? So many people love this thing. Wonder Guard is the most broken ability in Pokemon. Let's be right there in it. But personally, I fucking hate this thing. I don't like Wonder Guard as an ability. I don't like Shedinja. It is an irritating mon. It's really easy to deal with if you have the right tools, but it's such a gimmicky, like, ability check of a Pokemon. It's pretty decent all round. I've never particularly had massively large problems with dealing with it. I will say that. I quite often run things that can just deal with it. I run a lot of rock types, as you guys know. I quite often like to run Sandstorm with Tyranitar. I get dark types all the time. I run fire types. I don't usually have too much of an issue dealing with Shedinja, because my teams just naturally counter Shedinja. I also quite often run Will-O-Wisp or Toxic, because I obviously like running... I run Will-O-Wisp quite often on a lot of Pokemon, because Will-O-Wisp is really fun and really good, and is one of the most busted abilities in Pokemon. So I can burn it down that way. I'm running Toxic a lot, because I like running Toxapex. So there's a lot of options I always have to deal with Shedinja. But I fucking hate its existence for putting the concept that you have to be able to deal with it in a lot of situations. It's also, to me, one of the biggest reasons why they'll never bring Terra back. Like, Terra's not going to be a consistent thing. I don't care what people say of, oh, but it's the best gimmick. They're not keeping Terra. Learn to accept that. We're getting rid of it eventually again, right? They're going to put new gimmicks in. Terra may be the most competitively interesting gimmick, but I find it boring, and it's competitively interesting until it gets competitively aggravating, which I think is more aggravating than interesting. Personally. But yeah, Shedinja is a pain in the ass. I hate it. I do not like it. Big D spot. D tier for me. Don't like it. Do not like this mon. Never have done, never will. Its design's pretty ugly as well. I get how people could like its design. It's just not for me. Also, it pisses me off because I like Nincada. Nincada, I think, is pretty cool. I don't like either of its evolutions. I think I would love it if they made a third form for Nincada, which was actually stayed as a ground type. I think Bug Ground is a really cool type combo, and I think it's the only one in existence. Or one of very few. So yeah. Justice for Nincada. I hate Shedinja. Sableye, I know a lot of people that adore Sableye. I personally find it annoying, but it's supposed to be annoying. That's the entire purpose of being Sableye. It is an annoying little gremlin bastard of a Pokemon. So many people I know absolutely love this thing. I do think its design kind of slaps, gonna be honest. But it's not for me, right? It's an annoyingly aggravating support Pokemon that's literally just there to be an annoying Pokemon. That's its entire purpose. It accidentally got made to be have no weaknesses, which I don't think they intended when they made it. With Spiritomb, they knew what they were doing. With Sableye, I think it was like happenstance. But Sableye is an absurdly good Pokemon. Prankster is obviously busted good. It gets all these really aggravating support moves. It's really, really tanky. You build it really, really tanky. It's a good mod. Not one of my favorites, though, but I get why people love it, and I know a lot of people put it much higher rank than this. For me, Sableye is B tier. It's good, and I get it's good, and people love it. But, it's not one for me. But I absolutely get you putting it in S tier. That's one of the ones that I go, it's not for me. In other people's tier lists, I would not be surprised at all to see it in S tier. Particularly a friend of mine. There's one friend of mine who their spirit Pokemon is Sableye. You know who you are. Mega Sableye, though. I like Mega Sableye significantly more. I think its design is hilarious. I love the giant rock. I love the glowing red eyes. I believe they changed its ability to Magic Bounce, which I find hilarious. I really, really like it. So Mega Sableye is actually getting A tier for me. Genuinely. I like its design. I love the big ruby. It just looks good. I really like it. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's also slow as dirt, which is funny. But it's a really fun Pokemon. It's really good. Obviously, it's a Mega. Pretty much every Mega that's not Garchomp is good. Let's be perfectly honest. Mega Garchomp is good. Just not compared to regular Garchomp. And once again, I really, really hope Game Freak, when you reintroduce Mega Garchomp in the next Pokemon game, in Legends ZA, change its ability. Genuinely. Give it Sand Rush. Give Mega Garchomp Sand Rush. Then Mega Garchomp will be usable. I think it would be very, very strong. But it's a fucking Mega Pseudo-Legendary. They all should have at least a way to make them good, right? And Mega Garchomp is actively bad. If you give it Sand Rush, then it will definitely have a way to be good. It doesn't need to hit harder. It's got 170 attack. It doesn't need to hit harder. It needs to be able to actually outspeed the problem Pokemon that can kill it. Which Sand Rush does. Oh dear. Okay, Shuppet. Shuppet is another absolute cutie for me. I've always had a soft spot for how adorable Shuppet is. Shuppet is such a cute Pokemon. Genuinely. Really, really cute. Another absolute all-star sheer cuteness. So, yeah. Shuppet, you know where you're going. You are going up here. Because again, you and Miss May and Mischievous are two of the most absolutely adorable little ghost types. I don't know why a lot of baby ghost types are really, really cute to me. These two in particular, though. These are genuinely two of the most adorable adorable Pokemon of all time. If I had to do a tier list of just cuteness, these two would be near the top. They are some of the most absolutely, objectively adorable Pokemon. And I love them. Genuinely, I love both of these. Again, not very good Pokemon to actually use. Though you guys know I love my tier 3 shiny Shuppet in Pokerogue. But yeah. I want to evolve it to a Bayonet, because Bayonet's strictly better in terms of combat, even though I feel like it's design less. Speaking of Bayonet, previously I would have rated Bayonet as quite low. Right? I didn't really like the design of Bayonet a lot. But playing a lot of more Pokerogue and actually getting a tier 3 one, and using this guy's actually really fun to use. He really does grow on me, and his design's not that bad. So I will put regular Bayonet in B tier. You would have probably gone into D tier, like a couple of years ago. But I actually quite like it now. Not the most. I'm still not a huge fan of the design. It's decent in battle. But, yeah. Regular Bayonet, pretty good. Mega Bayonet, however. Mega Bayonet, that's a good design. I love Mega Bayonet's design. I love its abilities. It's a Prankstamon. I quite often don't use it as Prankstamon, if memory serves in Pokerogue, at least. Though for this thing, if I had to use it in actual competitive Pokemon, I would probably use its Prankster just for Will-O-Wisp. Give it some, like, good offensive moves, like, a couple of priority moves, one really hard-hitting move, and Will-O-Wisp, and I'm probably set. Right. That's probably the set that I'm using for it. And I'm not really bothered otherwise. High health, high attack. done. It hits like a truck, this thing. Which people always forget. Yeah, people forget Mega Banette exists, but it's one of the coolest Megas for me. Mega Banette, you are going, I'd say, above Ghastly. Probably not quite up to Haunter. I really like Haunter as well. But I think it's a better design than Ghastly, genuinely. And Ghastly is great. But Mega Banette just slaps. And it is way better in use. Like, Mega Banette is a very, very good Pokemon. It's not as good as Mega Gengar, but it's a very, very good mon still. Like, all the same. And you're always happy with it. Duskull. Okay. Duskull's a weird one. I quite like its design. Yeah, there's not many I dislike either. Ghost types just are, on average, very, very good. In terms of competitive and just in terms of just, they're cool. Ghost types are one of the best averages for types, I'd say. Because in Ghost, there's very few Pokemon that you can say you dislike. That's what I've always said. But yeah, Duskull, I like Duskull. I like its design. The skull, obviously, is very cute. In kind of a little goofy way. I do like as well the red orb. It looks in this image obviously like it's got a red orb in each eye. It actually doesn't. It has one orb sitting in the middle, and because of where it's situated, it actually looks like it's shining in both eyes, but there's actually just a gap in the skull, and this red orb is like halfway in between, which gives it quite a nice just general purpose look. It's a good design. It's not terrible to use either. It's okay. The entire Dusknoir line is just quite good. So, yeah. Duskull, you're getting a solid B tier for me. Dusclops, I don't like Dusclops. I'm gonna be honest. I think it is not the best design. It's really strong in Pokemon. Also, by the way, because Dusclops is way better than Dusknoir, people actually forget that Dusknoir... Okay, so I've encountered this. If you encounter somebody, and this is a statement, just for everybody. Dusclops, this one, the one I'm about to rank, this one here, if you can see it, see, skull, like, 2 legs on the ground, hands, like that. This one is the one you put Eviolite on, right? This Pokemon is busted with Eviolite. It's way better, it's significantly better than its fully evolved form if you give this thing an Eviolite, right? Don't be the guy that I fought a couple of weeks back on Pokemon Showdown that put an Eviolite on Dusknoir. On this one, the fully evolved one. Eviolite doesn't work on Dusknoir. It's very famously doesn't, because Dusknoir is fully evolved. I had fought against someone who was adamant that Eviolite worked on Dusknoir. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. And when I went, you realize it doesn't work on him, right? It's like, no, it does. It's like, okay, if you say so, it really doesn't. It's the fully evolved Pokemon, dude. But yeah, Dusclops is a very good mon. I don't particularly like it. I think its design's kind of mid. I don't dislike it particularly, and it is very, very good. So I will put Dusclops in C tier, and I think it's a comfy C. As I don't dislike them on, but I don't really like it either. Now then, for a entertaining Pokemon, we have got the child stealing mon. Genuinely. Drifblim and Drifloon are very well known for stealing children. Which is fucking dark. Because a lot of Pokemon stuff, for ghost types especially, is really fucked up. Like, if you look into a lot of the Pokemon entries, there's some really messed up ones. Ghost types have some of the most fucked up ones. So yeah. The fact that you see Driftlooms and Driftblims in the balloons in the middle of the city in Scarlet Violet, that's scary as fuck, because they actually hide amongst balloons to wait for a child to buy them, and then they will carry them away, never to be seen again. That's genuinely the lore of these Pokemon. They are pretty fucking scary. Other than that, Flying Ghosts kind of cool. I think they're the only Flying Ghosts, weirdly enough. Yeah, I believe they are. I believe these are the only Flying Ghost types, which is an odd one. You'd think there'd be more. There's a lot of Ghost types with Levitate, but there's not that many Ghost types with Flying type. Which is, you know, kind of a neat thing to know about. But I've never been the biggest fan of these. They're kind of for me. So I'd say these are C tier, both of them. I don't... I've used them before, and they're, you know, fine. That's the best I can give them, is fine. I don't really like them particularly. The designs are alright. They're a balloon. Right. What would I say? It's a fucking balloon. Like, there's only so much I can really work with here. And they're fine. If you love them, I get it. They're really, really not for me. And I also, no, actually, I'll put this one. If you love them, why do you love them? I don't get it. I don't get the adoration for these things other than their lore. The lore is their most interesting fact. I guess they also get the freaking, they have guts, but special. If memory serves right, they have flare boost, which is when burnt, they increase special attack, I believe, which is, you know, kind of cool. But, yeah. They're not... Yeah, they're fine. That's all I can call them. They're fine. Miss Magius, however, Miss Magius is pretty sick. I like Miss Magius. I was happy they made Mischievous an evolved form, which is better. Because it is. Miss Magius is a pretty good mod. Got decent stats, levitate. I think it's got it's got like bad stats on all physical, and it's got pretty good stats, like above average. I think it's 105 in special attack, special defense, and speed. Right? Which is fine. It's got bad physical stats, but they don't need physical stats that much. It's a special attacker. It means it can tank the occasional special hit. Pure ghost type is fine. Levitate's a good ability. It's got a good design. I have used this thing and it's been very good. I just like Mischievous' design more. And it's a good one. I do like the design. The design is a vibe. It really is. I'm pretty sure if I introduced my older sister more to Pokemon, she would absolutely adore this thing. But there's only so much that I can really go for. I think its design is worse than Mistrevious'. It's good. It is good in its own right, and I like them on a lot. But it's not S tier for me. It's an A tier. It's a comfy A tier. But I wouldn't say it's S tier. I'd say if it had a design more in line with Mischievous, let's say. I don't know, if they made some sort of super mega ultra version of Mischievous, I think it would make a better design. And for a better Pokemon in general than Miss Magius, but I don't know what I'm talking about at all, and nobody else would agree with me ever under any circumstances. It wouldn't be broken beyond imagining in any way. Right? But okay, jokes aside, I do really like Miss Magius a lot, but it's not an S tier, it's a comfy A tier though. Give myself a drink. Remember to hydrate, everybody. Excuse me. So, Spiritomb. I really like Spiritomb. I've tried to make this thing work a lot. I've also wanted a shiny Spiritomb for ages. I've never been able to get one because Spiritomb was just a bitch to catch in Scarvi. Beer is not water. You are absolutely right. I don't drink beer. I don't drink alcohol in general. I drink fizzy drinks, which are also not water, to be fair, though I have had water today anyway. I've had quite a lot. I've had about a litre of water. I'll drink more after stream. Who's messaging me? So not an urgent text, it's fine. But Spiritomb is great. I think it's an amazingly good design. Really cool, just generally. I would love it if this thing got a Mega, by the way. Can we get Mega Spiritomb in Legends ZA? I think that would be a really sick Pokemon. I don't know. Maybe, like, make it into a Dullahan kind of thing. I think it would be really cool. Or maybe make it into a suit of armor. Maybe? Just more souls. Exactly. Or souls that possess something that's bigger than a rock. I think that could go hard. I think a Mega Spiritomb could be a really, really cool idea for Pokemon. And it's an easy, this is the reason. It's just taking in more evil souls. Or it could be a purified version. They could make it Ghost Fairy. And it's actually like a purified soul. Because that's the thing with Spiritomb. Mega Marowak I would love as well. Yeah, I would absolutely love a Mega Marowak. But yeah, I think Spiritomb is an amazing Pokemon. Absolute all-star. Absolutely love this thing. Genuinely a very good one. Also, it gets Cynthia points because it's a Cynthia bomb. We're not getting Mega Cerulege. There's no chance in hell. Also, Mega Cereledge would probably actually be quite bad, because Cereledge is good because you can focus sash it with weak armor and things. That's what makes Cereledge good, is you can... You either give it weakness policy, or you give it, focus sash. And then you can heal it back up afterwards. Like, I think that's quite a common one. The one I've seen which I enjoyed was... Sashed Cereledge with weak armor, because it gets hit, and guarantee tanks the hit, which triggers its weak armor, meaning that it massively increases its speed but loses defense. And you sword stance on that turn, doubling its attack. Then you hit with Bitter Blade, which is a fire stab, which is its unique ability, which is a stab fire attack, which heals you. And you've got the massive boost from that, so you're basically just healing up, healing up, healing up. That is what makes Cereledge really good. Mega Cereledge would have to have the Mega Stone, which would make it actually quite bad. If they didn't, like, massively up its bulk, and then... You're kind of competing with other mons which do the same job better, really. And I don't think it would be that good. I don't think it'd be as cool as it could be. But yeah. Spiritomb is an amazing one. It gets massive points for being Cynthia's lead as well, which is always a cool part. The originally intended zero weakness Pokemon as well. Before they added Fairy, this thing had no weaknesses, like Sableye. But Sableye, as I've said before, I'm pretty sure Sableye was a happenstance rather than intentional. Whereas with Spiritomb, they knew exactly what they were doing. They built Spiritomb into an absolute wall, and that's its point. Spiritomb was an absolute brick shithouse that was almost indestructible back in the day. And it's a great Pokemon. It's a great design, great Pokemon. Nothing too crazy, like you're not going to see it be one of the best Pokemon ever, but it's good. And its design slaps. Shiny is great. What can I say? Spiritomb is just a very, very good mon. A very comfortable A tier. Very comfortable high A tier as well. Dusknoir, I like Dusknoir. I have used this thing to hilarious effect. I haven't used this thing properly, because this thing is like a low-tier beast if you want to run Trick Room. I'd say that would be probably the best way to run Dusknoir, because Duskull does its job better as a brick wall. Which is what Dusknoir does very well. It's got very high defensive stats, pretty good attack, slow as dirt, not crazy health. Dusclops has most of the same stats, not as good attack. So you give an Eviolite, he has even better defenses. But with Dusknoir, what makes it good is its slow speed and high attack means it can... Hey, Nix! Dusknoir can be an absolute beast in Trick Room. I'm not a Trick Room player, so I am not the biggest user of it properly. But I have run this thing just outright with just some beatdown moves, like an absolute max health, I think. I think I ran it max health, max attack, adamant, with like Drain Punch and Earthquake and Poltergeist, and just crazy moves like that. And it's a lot of fun. So Dusknoir, you get a decent review. Probably I'd say B tier, just behind Burnett. Right? So that's a good spot. Also, Nixie, just to let you know, I have fixed some of my subscriber notifications, so they should actually, work. The resubs after 1 year will actually work properly, and my gifted subs will actually have their correct alert. And it will scare the shit out of me, I'm certain, when someone eventually presses it. Oh dear. But yeah, Dusknoir's great. Dusknoir's great, and I quite like the Pokemon. Solid B tier. Solid B tier. Now we get to my OG favorite ghost. I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. I fucking love Frostlass. Frostlass is one of my favorite ghost types. Always has been. I think it's such a cool design. It's one of my favorite ice types. Hell, you saw this when I did ice type tier list, that Frostlass immediately got on the highest ranks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it anyway. It's still one of my absolute favorite ghost types. I love Frostlass. It's super fast, got okay attacks, a crazy good moveset. I love running this thing. I've run this thing. But most people go, oh, you run this thing, like, out first. I definitely think it should have a Mega. I am convinced that Frostlass will get a Mega, and I'm convinced Mega Frostlass will be terrifying as well. Because the thing is, Frostlass is fast. I think she has 110 speed, which is fast. Nothing obscene, but fast. she doesn't have good offensive stats. If they literally added 50 to her speed and 50 to her special attack, she would be terrifying. She would be absolutely nightmarish. Or they could give her sheer force, which I think would be hilarious, because nearly all the moves she gets are moves that are activated, that activate sheer force. So if they gave her sheer force and boosted her special attack and speed, she'd be nuts. She would be nuts. I absolutely love this mon. People know I love this mon. Frostlass is one of my absolute favorites. She was for a very, very long time my favorite ghost type. Sheer Force it increases the damage of all moves that would have an extra effect, so flinch chance, paralyze chance, anything like that. But it removes their chance to do that, but increases the damage of those moves by 30%, which is quite a hefty boost. Also, by the way, it wouldn't work for this one because Mega. But if you actually have a mon with Sheer Force and give it a Life Orb, anytime you activate a move that would trigger Sheer Force, you get the Life Orb damage boost, but the Life Orb health drain counts as an extra effect from the move, meaning that Sheer Force cancels the life drain from the Life Orb, meaning that you just get a 60% damage increase on your move, which is crazy good. So, I think that would be very, very fun. And I would love to see Frostlass get a Mega. And I do genuinely think that she is going to be one of the ones that gets a Mega. Also, I quite like Snowrun, and I thought Glalie was pretty neat, but it wasn't like, it didn't really sell me. Frostlass is a fucking Yukiona, and Yukiona are really cool. I always call it Misere. If you have watched Rosario Vampire, you know exactly why I call my Frostlass Misere. Great anime, highly recommend it. It's weird as hell. I highly recommend it. But, yeah, Frostlass, absolute all-star. Love that one. Okay. Rotom. Regular Rotom as well. OG Little Light Bulb Rotom. I mean, normal Rotom's cool. I do kind of like normal Rotom. I like the other forms more. I do find it hilarious that it's the appliances. I'm going to be honest. I think this is the first time we've done Rotom? No, we haven't, because we've done Ice type and Fire type already. So we've done 2 of the Rotoms already. People know I quite like Rotom. It's one of the better electric types for me. People know I'm not a big electric type fan. Okay, well-known fact. I am not a user of electric types a lot. They're not bad. Yeah, exactly. It's a very memorable mod, and I love that it's got multiple forms and multiple types for it. It's a very, very fun mod. Not really for me, though, but I get why people love it. So, Rotom, you're getting a B tier for me. Also, quite cute. Quite cute. Not my kind of cute, but I get people going, it's absolutely adorable, and it is cute. So, yeah. Rotom's good. Now then. I ain't gonna hide on this one's. People know my opinion. It's the big lad himself. One of my favorite legendary Pokemon of all time. Does lose out to a couple, as we found out in the Dragon tier list. Yes. Easy. Giratina is an easy S tier. And Origin Giratina is a higher S tier. Now, I will say, as anyone who saw the Dragon tier list, as a dragon, regular Giratina is a high A tier. Because I have a very high bar for my dragon Pokemon. For ghost types, the bar isn't as high, meaning that both Giratinas are comfortable S tiers. And Origin Giratina was S tier on my dragon types list, which shows how high ranked this dragon is. I love Giratina. I think Origin Giratina is one of the best designs in Pokemon. Gorgeous shiny as well. Probably my third favorite. I'd have to think about it more, but I will say casually my third favorite shiny legendary of the lot. The only 2 that I can think of offhand that definitely beat it for I like the shiny more are Rayquaza and Koraidon. But yeah, Giratina is one of the absolute best ghosts. What can I say? It's fucking Giratina. He's my favorite of his original trio. It was for a very long... It was for a good while my second favorite legendary after Rayquaza. Latios ended up slightly taking the spot. Shiny Origin Kyogre and Groudon are great because they're based on Rayquaza's Shiny, is one of the big ones. The black and gold look is based on Rayquaza's black and gold look. And it works. It really works. But yeah, I will say, Origin Giratina is an absolute monster. I love it. I've used it in Ubers to very good effect. Hilariously, one of the best ways I've used this thing in Ubers is a lead. Because I've run this thing with very bulky, with Will-O-Wisp, Hex, Draco Meteor, and Defog. Weirdly, Giratina's one of the few Defog legendaries, which is very fun. And Levitate is also very good for it. So yeah. I absolutely love this thing. I end up using support Origin Giratina quite a bit. Because it's bulky, it's not as bulky as regular Giratina, but it's bulky enough and its offense gets up. And yeah, the difference isn't astronomical for durability. They're both very, very tanky. So, for me, you might as well get a bit more damage in there, right? Arceus, you all know Arceus. Arceus is the same in every single one. It's just A tier to me. It's good. I don't like any Arceus form any better than any other, so it's just somewhere in A tier. I've always said that. It's a really, really cool mon. I really, really like it. But I'm not doing an Arceus tier list, right? It's a cool mon. They all are about the same in A tier. Just always. Every single tier list that you see Arceus in, I've said this in previous videos, it's just an A. Just A. That's it. Nothing special. Yamask? Where do I want to put Yamask? I quite like it. I'm not like a huge Yamask fan. Actually, no, I know what I'll do. Regular Yamask, ordinary one, it's not really my vibe. I will put you as a C tier. You're alright. Not really the biggest fan. Galarian Yamask, though, I really like the idea of Galarian Yamask. By the way, just so you guys know, Galarian Yamask should have been rock type. We'll state this again. I know it's sandstone, so I get why it's a ground type. Should have been a rock type. I will statement this. There are no ghost rock types. There's none. There's not one. It would have been an easy thing to change. People, okay? Would have been an easy change. There's nothing wrong with it. Make it a rock type. Come on. But I do like Galarian Yamask still. I like that it's Viking-styled runes, and yeah, you're getting a comfy B tier. I think it's really cool. I want to use it as Evolve form real bad. Cofagrigus now. Cofagrigus is pretty cool. It's an absolute fucking wall. Like, this thing is nuts tanky. It's got like 145 physical defense or something obscene like that. It's really tough. And it's got Mummy, which basically gets rid of your opponent's ability because it gives them Mummy. You can do some wacky shit with Cofagrigus. And it's kind of fun, right? So, I think this mod is pretty cool. I'm not giving it too high a mark. I'm going to give it a B. Lower than Galarian Yamask. Oh yeah, the thing is a nightmare on Pokerogue. It is such a piece of shit to deal with on Pokerogue. Because it gets rid of your ability, which quite often... Yep, that was the big one I was about to say. This thing was the one thing that hard walls Mega Lopunny. Super hard. If you want to counter to Mega Lopunny, by the way, pick this thing. Not kidding. I don't understand why you would ever have a problem with Mega Lopunny, but yeah. Genuinely. Run out Cofagrigus to go against it. Okay, guys. We were talking about good shinies, right? With Giratina. I will comfortably say that the next Pokemon on the list, mostly it's Evolve form, but the next Pokemon on its list, is one of the single greatest designs in Pokemon history. I will say that as a statement. Hisuian Zorua Great mon. Absolute love your design. Absolute cutie. Another one of the triple baby ghosts that are so unbelievably cute. Yep, pretty much. That's what you do. Yeah. Hisuian Zoroark is an absolute cutie. I'd say slightly less cute than the other two. Obviously. But yeah, I'd say slightly less cute than Mismagius, the Mischievous, or Shuppet, right? Very, very cute nonetheless. All three are fairly comparable with each other. Very, very cute. But Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark is one of the single greatest designs in Pokemon history. Genuinely. It is an amazingly cool mon. Absolute S tier. Amazing shiny too, the pink goes to purple. It came out at a good time, because basically anyone who's like me, I used to play a shitload of Magic the Gathering back in the day, right? Mostly like between, if you've watched my streams for a long time, you know I played a lot of Magic back in the day. Not as much anymore. I went off it when realizing it was making me go crazy. Playing Arena, I was getting actively annoyed at the games. So I stopped. Yeah. Hisuian Zoroark always reminded me of an Eldrazi well from one of my favorite sets they ever made. So basically there's these like tentacle Eldritch Abomination things in one of the Magic the Gathering sets, basically, and storylines. They went onto the planet, which is basically Super Transylvania, and a bunch of werewolves got basically infected and taken over by this horrifying Eldritch monstrosity, turning into just weird, horrifying mutant tentacle werewolf things, right? Very, very weird, very, very cool, sick as hell, right? And Hisuian Zoroark looks like one of the werewolves from that, basically. I think it's sick. It's one of my favorite Hisuian mons, and I think pretty much every Hisuian mon is cracked at the gills. It's great. It's one of the biggest upgrades on its base form. I don't like Zoroark. I will statement that. I have never really liked Shadow the Hedgehog for it. But Hisuian Zoroark, it's taken the concept of Zoroark and made it infinitely better in every way. It's better typing, better competitively, better design, better color scheme. It just wins. It literally wins in every single category. And it is a comfy S tier. I would say it is a comfy S tier just behind Origin Giratina. That's how highly I rank this thing. Genuinely. This thing is an absolute beast. I adore this Pokemon. And I'm not usually a, like, mind games, tricksy kind of player that would use something like a Zoroark. No. Hisuian Zoroark I'll use. That one I'll use. And yeah, slightly behind Origin Giratina, I'd say. But very comparable to Origin Giratina. But a good step behind Frostlass, essentially. For a very long time, I had my top 4 ghosts for a while, and I'd say top 5. I'd say my top 5 ghosts. Were these 3 and 2 more. One of which is coming fairly soon, but not immediately. Okay, I will comfortably say I can never remember the name of these mons. They Frillish? Is that its name? It is Frillish, okay. Frillish, which evolves into Jellicent. Also known as Little Monopoly Guy and Big Monopoly Guy. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I regularly forget these things exist. I don't like the designs. I don't really like how they work either. They're irritating. They're a pain in the ass to deal with. They don't seem to do anything other than waste time, really. Which can be a good thing. Like, definitely can be a good thing. They are aggravating to fight against. They're pretty good with stall. They are actually pretty good at stalling. There are better stall ones, I think, but they're not bad for it. They have some pretty decent abilities and moves and stuff, but I don't know. I have never liked these. These are active dislikes for me. So I will put them all down here. They're kind of irrelevant for differences, really. I do like the blue one slightly more because it looks much more like a Monopoly guy. So that's the highest ranked one. You go there. I don't like Shedinja more. Shedinja actively aggravates me. These things just annoy me. Yeah. So there's that, essentially. That's better. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't really like these Pokemon. They are one of the sets of Pokemon I have literally zero interest in using. 100%. Never going to use these things. They don't even slightly interest me. Now we've got another set of very, very good ones. All of these, I'm going to just say it right here. All of these are A tier. Litwick, Lampent, Chandelure, comfy A tiers, all of them. They are absolutely sick. I talked about these in the fire type video. People go, they're getting bad designs, or they're getting bad designs, and they use this as a one. But you gotta admit, the design kind of slaps, right? It's a great color scheme. It works so well for what it is. Like, it's a possessed object. It's a poltergeist, and it's fiery. It just kind of works. Sure, it's a simple design, but it's a really good interpretation of this. They could have made it way more boring than it is. Let's put it that way. It is a really good design. It's a really good Pokemon. It's just solid. I just love it. I can't say. And also, let's face it, Litwick is adorable. Very cute little candle. So yeah, can't complain about Litwick or Litwick, Lampent, Chandelure. Oh, it's crazy. 145 special attack, I believe, which is absurd. Middling speed as well, so good with a choice scarf. It's just good. It's just good. I really like this one. Genuinely. Could see it getting a mega. Absolutely could see it getting a mega. To be one of those, like, crazy, over-the-top chandeliers you see in, like, palaces and things. I could see that. Like the Hogwarts ones that you see in the movies. Something like that. Next ones. Golett and Golurk. People know I love these. So I will say, Golurk is sick. I love Golurk so much. Golett, I like. Let's just put that right here. Golett is great S tier. Golurk is one of those ones that I said was one of my top 5 favorite ghost types of all time. Genuinely. In fact, Golurk was 2nd place. It was actually above Origin Giratina. I love this thing. I love the big, stompy golem idea. I really want this thing to get a regional form as well. This is one of the ones I want to have a regional form more than almost anything else. Make a ghost steel type one. Reggie from Wish? I kind of get that, yeah. It kind of is Reggie from Wish. Also, this thing can fucking turn into a cannon. It can turn, it can fly. Like, literally, it puts its arms and legs away and just shoots rockets out of it to fly around. That's genuinely a thing that Golurk does, by the way, in the anime. Just look it up. It's hilarious. But Golurk is a sick Pokemon. I love everything about it. Genuinely. It's a no-guard mon, which is hysterically fun to use as well. Everyone knows that this thing was a beast on my Gen 5 run in Pokemon. I believe it was Gen 5. I'm pretty sure it was Gen 5. On Pokemon Mo, I used a Golurk to crazy effect. Like, my god, was that thing an absolute unit of a Pokemon. And it doesn't need no guard as well. I wish to put out, Golurk doesn't need no guard to be good. No guard makes it like crazy good. No guard makes Golurk. It's like a middling Pokemon. Like, it's good. It's not crazy. It's got very good attack. Okay speed. Okay defense. Nothing crazy. Ghost Ground is a decent typing, but not obscene. So it's good. But it's not broken. This thing hits like a truck, though, and no guard makes it very, very good. But, again, it's only a middling competitive Pokemon. But it's still good. And you're never upset to have one on the team as well. Choice Band Golurk goes so hard. Choice Band Poltergeist, which can't miss. choice band Drain Punch to heal yourself back up. Or Iron Fist. Like, I ran an Iron Fist, Drain Punch, Shadow Punch, Ice Punch, and Earthquake Golurk before, and it did work. Like, the thing worked. Not as good as the No Guard version, but actually was pretty good. So yeah, Golurk is a great mod. Golurk is a very good mod. I think at that particular one, I ran it more tanky. Like, I ran it a massive health bar with... No, I didn't run it. Yeah, I ran it Punching Glove because I wanted to try it. Punching Glove should be better, by the way, in my personal thought. I think it should be a much higher damage value booster because it gives it 10%, and Golurk can get Iron Fist, which is like another 20%. So it's like a 30% boost. I don't think it'd be that bad if they gave it... If they made Punching Glove, gave it like a 30% boost, or a 20% at least. I think it would kind of just work fine. Ooh, I'm looking forward to reading that later. It's some Pathfinder info about Blood Rager and a couple of other bits and pieces, which I just got sent. But yeah, I absolutely love Golurk. One of my original top 5 ghosts. A new challenger did arrive in Gen 9 to change that, but originally one of my top 5 favorite ghosts. Yeah. Serraledge, Doublade, Aegis Slash. Both forms of Aegis Slash has actually got here, but I will rank them together because you should, for me. The offense form and the defense form will get the same rank. I actually really like these things. I'm kind of sad. I know it works well for the gimmick. I'm kind of sad that Aegis Slash doesn't keep the No Guard for these things. I think this would be very fun if they had all 3 with No Guard. Ghost Steel is obscene typing. Everyone knows it is. I can't really give these things a bad mark. They're cool. They're not really my vibe. So I'm giving them all A rank. Because I think they deserve A rank. I think they're not my vibe, but they're a good vibe, and I can definitely appreciate their vibe. Which is a bit better than the B tier, for me. And yeah, I think I put them in, like, the middle section of A. Is just a solid spot to put them. Genuinely. I really like them. I'm probably never going to use these things particularly, but they're good. And they are just very, very solid mons. You can never be unhappy with them. They're just pretty cracked, honestly. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. I can't really give them a crazy good, like a crazy over-the-top review because I've only used these things a bit. I've mostly been against them. And against them, they are formidable Pokemon. Not really too much of a crazy... This is a problem that I have no way of dealing with. But a definite threat that has to be respected. So, which I think is great. Now I will say, the next ones I have a soft spot for. Phantump and Trevenant. Phantump, for a start, is absurdly cute, right? And this is the thing I've said. Phantump is a very, very cute mon. Same with Litwick. But this is actually one of the ones that I go, the coolness factor of its final evolution outweighs the cuteness of its pre-evo. Which is the thing that I've said before. There is a line, and this one does it. Trevenant is sick. I love using this thing. I've never had it be crazy powerful. It is a good mon, but I don't run it in Trick Room. It's a big thing. I know how powerful this thing can be in Trick Room. This is an absurdly good Trick Room Pokemon. Outside of Trick Room, it's still pretty decent. And I have run it, and it's been pretty decent. I tend to like running it a bit more offensively, I think, than most people do. I run it like bulky attacker, where a lot of people run it obviously Trick Room attacker. With like support abilities and stuff. But I just like this mon. I think it's a very fun one. I've always been a fan of like possessed trees as a concept. I think they're a really cool idea. I love tree monsters. I think they're always they're nearly always very fun. I'm a big fan of dryads, treants, and all that kind of stuff. I've always had a soft spot for them. So, yeah. That's the thing for me for them. They are very, very cool. And if they ever do a Regiflora, I hope they kind of take an idea from this. Genuinely. Pumpkaboo and Gorgeist. By the way, just a thing for Gorgeist, if you haven't noticed, Oh, I know, eat you. I played Blue Dragon back in the day. The actual game. I play the Xbox game. So I know what you're talking about. Eat, yeet. That's what I think it is. I'm like 90% sure it is, right? Yeah, I remember that one. I remember you. Not one of my favourites for the possessed trees, but cool one. I liked the freaking Cherrymon, I think it was, from Digimon was one of the ones I always thought of. And obviously there's the entire Sylvaneth faction from Age of Sigmar, which is a big pluses for me. But also, I just like tree creatures in general. I like the Ents from Lord of the Rings. I like the Black Horns from Lord of the Rings. Are very, very cool. I love Dryads in most things. I've played Dryads in various things before. People know, obviously, Alvina. She's technically an elf, but she's quite tree-esque. She's obviously a wood elf. She loves trees, and sakura trees are always beautiful and things like that, so. My 200 hours. I don't remember how long I played. It was one of the ones I played back when I had my 360 before Red Ring of Death. So, that was one. Back in the day. Okay. Pumpkaboo and Gorgeist. Thing if you don't know about Gorgeist, the jack-o'-lantern head on it isn't his actual face. He's got a little face above it, which definitely gives it points. But Pumpkaboo and Gorgeist, I'd say they are good, solid B tiers. Probably a little bit above Bennett. Yeah, I'll put Gorgeist a bit higher because the face. The face wins out. It's cute. It's pretty good. I've never run it too much, but it's very usable. Yeah, I think I can really give it. It's just solid. The thing, I prefer Trevenant out of the two. And they kind of do a lot of the same things. And Trevenant I prefer, and they came out in the same games. So, you know kind of how it goes. They're both very, very good, but I like one more than the other. Meaning the other one gets a bit lower score. But it's very, very cool. Very, very fun. And if you prefer it, absolutely. I'd say if you prefer it, you'd probably switch the places of them. Probably, whichever one you like more. And I think that's entirely fair. Oh, also, can I say that Trevenant has one of the sickest shinies. The Silver Birch Trevenant is awesome. Hooper! Regular Hooper, not Unbound Hooper. Unbound Hooper a bit cooler for me. But regular Hooper is got some form of very fun little gremlin energy. I'd say it's fine. I'm not like the biggest Hooper guy myself, but he's very cool. I get why people love him. I slightly prefer Unbound, but I've never had the best success with either Hooper, to be honest. They're both pretty good in their own rights. The problem is, for regular Hooper, is that he's the exact same typing as one I vastly prefer to him. Another legendary. I know Hooper is technically a mythical, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm one of the people who does go mythicals versus legendaries. There is a difference. But if you say you can easily count mythicals as legendary Pokemon for me. It's just they're a subset of legendaries. Like I think box arts are a subset of legendaries. Essentially. I've always basically had that. Like, legendaries is a broad category that you can separate into multiple types. Mythicals is one of the subtypes you can put for legendaries. And even some mythicals get, let's face it, some mythicals get really fucking confusing. It's like, is this a mythical? I don't know. Decidueye. I fucking love Decidueye. Very much prefer regular to Hisuian. Hisuian Decidueye is also pretty sick, don't get me wrong. I quite like them on. But regular's just kind of got a vibe, right? It's Robin Hood. I'm a big fan of Robin Hood. I'm English, of course I am. And I grew up around Sherwood Forest as well. I used to go to Sherwood Forest a lot as a kid. So I'm a big Robin Hood fan. And Decidueye is the Robin Hood owl Pokemon. I also am a big fan of owls. So it kind of just ticks a lot of boxes. Also, it's got the baby forms, Rowlet, which is great. One of the better grass starters. And genuinely, I've said before, I think that Alola has one of the most solid starter lineups. there is not a single wrong choice you can make of the Alola starters. All three are very good in their own right. They are very good, great designs, all three of them. At least the final forms. Looking at you, Poplio, ruining the side. But Primarina is amazing, as you've heard me wail on about Primarina. I just unfortunately think that Decidueye, competitively, is definitely the worst of the three. But unfortunately, it's kind of the worst design out of the three as well. Not saying that it's bad. It's one of the best grass starters. In terms of design, at least. It's not that good competitively. Full credit. But it's a very, very decent Pokemon. It's just that the other two are busted. Genuinely. Primarina is obscenely good. And at least in doubles, like Incineroar's good in singles. And is one of the most powerful Pokemon of all time in singles. As well known to be. So, and this is why it's fine. That's what you got. It's a good mon. But it doesn't reach the heights of the other two. But it's still a great mon. And I'm giving you a very solid A tier. Very solid A tier. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. Oricorio. I don't know the name of this form of Oricorio. I'll look it up. Is it Senzu style? Oricorio. Isn't. Wow, I nailed that. How the fuck? I'm going to be honest, that was not skill in any way. I just dug that out of my memory and played a card. That was all it was. Senzu style's quite cool. For Oricorio. I'm not really an Oricorio user, so I could not tell you which one's good and which one's bad. I haven't really seen this one used much, but I think it might be at least banned in one tier, so it can't be bad. But it's cool. Oricorio is a pretty neat Pokemon. If you like that vibe of Pokemon, have at it. It's not for me, so I think I'll give you a B tier. It's a solid B tier. I think it's good design. I like the idea of the dancing form-changing bird as well. That does different dances and changes its type. Revelation Dance is cool. It gets Quiver Dance, which is obviously amazing. Because Oricorio just gets Quiver Dance. So, cool idea for Pokemon. Kind of sick. I like it. But it's not getting higher than B tier. As for the next one, Sandygast and Palosand. Now, these are a weird one for me. I do like sandcastles. I used to build a lot of sandcastles as a kid. Okay? And they are very, very fun. And they're pretty cool Pokemon. Can't really complain. They're just not really for me. I know they're good. Also, my god, does Palosand have an amazing shiny. The black sand, it's like a Tenerife. If you've ever been to Tenerife on holiday. It's volcanic sand, and it makes black sand, which is very, very cool. And Palosand is a black sand castle, which is a reference to it. So yeah. Very cool. Not really for me, though. I know a lot of people that really love Palosand. It's another ground type, which is fine. Ghost Ground is a pretty good typing, as I've said before. Water Compaction is an awesome ability as well. I will definitely say that. And I love the idea of it. And it's bulky. Palosand is a bulky mon. It's pretty good, but not really for me, you know. Silverly, I've said before, Silverly, you're getting like a random spot in B tier. You're fine. Again, it's a fine mon. I'm not here to do a Silverly tier list, though, so I'll go elsewhere, basically, for that one. I don't really care for it. I don't hate it. It's cool. I don't like any of the forms more than any of the others. It's generally what the thing is. And again, a lot of the tier lists include it or don't include it. So, just for fairness, it's going in the same spot every time. I'm pretty sure I said Silverly is just solid B tier somewhere. It's cool, mon. Mimikyu! I fucking love Mimikyu. Mimikyu is sick. I love this thing. It's very cute in a kind of warped way. I love its little eyes. The eyes are on its chest. The actual, like, sack thing is its cosplay. I think this thing is obscenely cute, and it's very good as well. Easy S tier for me. Easy S tier. Very good mon. Very cool. Loved one of the times that I destroyed one with a Gigaton hammer from Tinkerton because people didn't realize how Mold Breaker works. Yeah, this thing is a very, very fun Pokemon, and it's very, very good. You can make this thing an absolute powerhouse. But it quite often runs like one way, which can take some points off of it, but it's also technically a Pikachu clone, and it's one of the best, if not the best. In fact, I'd say it's probably the best Pikachu clone. Even though it's technically not the only Pikachu clone in its category, like in its gen, because there's also the spiky mouse one, the steel type. But I vastly prefer Mimikyu. Mimikyu is a very unique idea for one as well. Also, Ghost Fairy type is a very good combo. I wonder if they make any other crazy good Ghost Fairy types. Weird. Anyway, the next one, Delmise, I think it's called, right? It's something like that. I can never remember this thing's name. It is it's with an H. It's got one of the most impossible to spell names of all Pokemon. That's the first thing you need to know about this one. Yeah, Delmise. It's got good... Okay, so this thing is one of the weirdest mons ever. So, looking at it, big freaking anchor, right? Very clearly possessed by something. So you'd assume it's like, oh, it's an anchor. It's gonna be water type or steel type. No, it's not, actually. It's neither of those. You go ghost type is probably a safe bet. This is a ghost grass type because I believe what it technically is, it's the kelp around the anchor that is possessed. And it has an ability called Steelwork, which I think gives it basically Steel Stab. This one I don't like because it's confusing. You're getting D tier. Your design is fine, but it seems it's all over the place. You're a bit too all over the place for me. You're not getting a good review from me. I am very sorry, Delmise. I don't care if someone absolutely adores you. You're not on my list of fun, interesting mons. It's a Pokemon that exists. It's got weird stats. Yeah, if they gave it a Mega which is an entire ship or something like that, maybe I'll give it the time of day. But not for what it is. Now, does anybody remember that I was regularly talking about my original Big 5 ghost types? Which were Frostlass, Golurk, Origin Giratina, and Hisuian Zoroark. Well, there's one more ghost type in that top 5, and it's right here. It is Lunala. Lunala, I will say Lunala, if there's any mon that could take Frostlass from the top spot originally, it's Lunala. I love Lunala. Lunala is one of my absolute favorite legendaries. Genuinely. I'd say it's comfortably my favorite true legendary, like true box art legendary. It's one of my top 3, I'll say. For big top box art legendaries, it's one of my top 3. Rayquaza, Zacian, and Lunala are probably my top 3. And regularly in Ubers, those 3 make up like a big core of my team. Which is very fun. They're all very fun to use. I absolutely love these things. I love Power Herb Lunala with Agility and Meteor Beam. It's really, really fun to use. I highly recommend. I love this thing. It dies instantly to Dark-type moves. I will fully give it credit for that. But I just think Lunala is such a sick design. It's probably the mon that I am the most sad that the version of the game I want to get is Sun. I think I said this when I was playing Pokemon Sun. Ultra Sun. Lunala is easily my favorite legendary out of the pair. Solgaleo great as well, do not get me wrong. I think both the Alolan legendaries are amazing. But Lunala just slaps. She's such a beast of a mon. It's a beautiful mon. Genuinely. Aw. Easily. Yeah. These 5 were genuinely, up until like these 3 games, my top 5. Until Gen 9, these were my top 5. And I probably would have put like History and Zoroark would have been like dropped, but I had to put like History and Zoroark's cracked. But I would have probably like named it the top. I think I named it my top 4 beforehand, where it was Lunala, Frostlass, Golurk, and Origin Giratina. And then History and Zoroark when Gen 8 hit. When we got, what's it called? Hisui. Genuinely, History and Zoroark was amazing. So, yeah. Easy one for that. However, Necrozma, Dawn Wings, I believe it is. Really like it. Easily another S tier. Do not get me wrong. You aren't like losing out on that one. I'd say I'd put you behind normal Giratina. I really like the Dawn Necrozma. It's a great design. Again, it goes off of Lunala's design. Lunala is an amazing Pokemon with an amazing design. And it's just a bit extra, right? The main genuine difference between Dawn Wings and regular Lunala for me, I like the color scheme, and the Necrozma is slightly too much. Like Lunala, for me, one of the things I've said in Pokemon, a lot of the Pokemon that I really like are over the top, but in a slightly subtle way. Right? Or as they nailed just the right amount of over-the-topness. Because I am a very firm believer that box art should be over the top. Yeah. Box art should be over the top. But Lunala is very over the top, but just slightly below the bar of too much. Dawn Wings goes slightly too much, essentially. Not by a lot. I think it's still a very, very good design. And I like all the Necrozmas, for reference. All the Necrozmas are very, very good designs in their own right. But yeah, the Primals are a good example of that. They are... The regulars are over the top. The Primals are over the top but subtle, which makes them very, very good. Like, and same with Mega Rayquaza. Mega Rayquaza is obscenely over the top, but it's not too much. It's not too much. It's treading the line on being too much, but I think it works. Yeah, exactly. There are also ones. There's a lot of mons which just barely edge out from being too much. And that's the line that usually for me are some of my absolute favorites. A lot of people will say they're over the top and too much. For me, the line, if you can get just below the line, the closer to you get to the line without going across it, is the best. Genuinely. Subtle designs are great, and I love a lot of subtle designs. But it's where you just get it right. Where it's over the top, but not over-designed. That's what I like. And yeah, that's what Lunala is to me. That's one of the absolute bits for Lunala for me. Marshadow. Marshadow is a fun one. I love this thing. I had never used it until I had played Pokerogue. But Marshadow is a crazy good Pokemon. It's a very, very, very good Mon. And it's very cute, you know? It's a mythical. It's got a very, very cute little vibe for it. I'll put Marshadow, I'd say, just behind Gengar. Normal Gengar. But above its alternate forms, I will say. Marshadow slaps. It's a ghost fighting type, which is really fun. It's got Technician, which is great, but it's crazy because it gets a lot of very good moves for Technician. I believe is its thing, isn't it? Actually, it might not be. It might be Technician. It might be its Pokerogue ability. But I'll look it up. Where's Marshadow on here? I'm still on the ghost type page. Yeah, Marshallow's ability is Technician. Technician is basically any move of 60 power or under gets a 20 stat boost to it. And at least in Pokerogue, Marshadow gets Power-Up Punch. Now, I don't think I need to tell you how broken Stab Power-Up Punch with Technician is. But yeah, that's what it gets. In Pokerogue, this thing is broken. It's a very, very good mon. It's a very cool mon. It's very cute. It kind of ticks every box. It's not going to be one of my absolute all-stars, but it's a very, very good mon. And if someone said this is their favorite, I get it. Exactly, right? Stab Power-Up Punch on its own is busted. Stab Power-Up Punch with Technician is obscene, because it's basically a 50% power boost on Power-Up Punch, which is already a great move. It's a very, very good mon. Exactly. I think also Marshadow has higher attack than Mega Lopunny, or at least comparable. It's slightly less attack than Mega Lopunny, but very comparable. It's 125 to 135. Or 136, I think it might be for Mega Lopunny. But yeah, love Marshadow. Marshadow's great. Blacephalon. Blacephalon's cool. One of the more okay Ultra Beasts. This is one that, for me, doesn't really do it. Like, this one is a slightly over-designed one. It's an Ultra Beast. They're supposed to be, right? I think I said this on the Fire-type tier list for them. The Ultra Beasts are supposed to be kind of over-designed. Which I think actually genuinely works in their favor in a lot of cases. Blacephalon, it's a bit weird. It's not my kind of over-designed, I guess I'll say. My kind of over-designed is Guzzlord, or Pheromosa, or what's his name? Buzzswole. Those are the ones that I have for me. Yes, I do know that about Buneri. Buneri fucking hates you if you catch it. I have leveled up Lopunny in actual Pokemon games, so I very much know that. Anger Rabbit. But yeah, Blacephalon's fine. It's a powerful Pokemon. Do not get me wrong, it's a powerhouse. And it's good typing. But it's not really for me. I've actually gone off this one more than I did when I was in the Fire-type tier list. If I was doing the Fire-type tier list more nowadays, Blacephalon might have dropped a rank or two. It don't do it for me. It's fine. Its power, its powers get a lot for it, but I don't like its design, really. It's fallen off for me, personally. Sinistea and, I've forgotten the name of you. Sinistea or Poltergeist. Poltergeist. You are starting to see the Gen 9 has some cracked ghosts. Let's be honest here. Gen 9 is this entire segment here, and oh boy, are they all good. Yeah, Sinistea and Poltergeist. They're both cool. I have been beaten down by Poltergeist a lot. It's a very good mod. They're kind of cute. I'll give them a B tier, right? They're not really for me, but I will say they're good. They are a Shell Smash mon, which is always nice. Yeah, they're just good mons. They're very good mons. They're alright. I will give them a... I kind of like them. I like the idea. I like the puns for name, because it's Poltergeist and things like that. It's a cool vibe. It is a cool idea. I get it. And they had to make a T-mon because, obviously, they had to make the meme jokes, because Galar is England. So they had to make a T joke, because of course they did. So, yeah, it's fine. Absolutely fine. Cursula. I have never particularly used Cursula, but I've kind of wanted to. Though, annoyingly, I believe this one is only good in Trick Room. But I think this thing is basically a mono-type, no durability, slow Chandelure. But it hits even harder. This thing hits absurdly hard, but it's, like, only usable in Trick Room. It's so absurdly slow, it's only good in Trick Room. It's very good in Trick Room, I would bet money. Never seen this thing used, but I've seen this thing's stats and moveset. That is a terror in Trick Room. That is an absolute terror in Trick Room. I've not seen it because there's better options in Trick Room. But I also started playing Pokemon later than Gen 8. Because I did most of my competitive Pokemon is Gen 9. Or we're using National Dex from Gen 9. So, Maybe Cursula was obscene back in the day. I could not tell you. I know Galarian Corsola was always broken, but Cursula, I'm pretty sure, is only good in Trick Room, but it's got to get some respect. And it's a Ghost Coral, which, again, I've talked about with Cursula, where are you? Galarian Corsola. You're kind of cool, but not really for me, but a decent one. And it's got a vibe. Not a really high one, so I'd say it's a low B, bordering on C, but it's a comfy one. But I'd say it is a B tier one. I wouldn't quite give it C. Now, Runagrigus, the Viking version of Cofagrigus. Once again, Will's statement. This thing should be rock type. It's a fucking stone tablet. I know it's a sandstone tablet, but don't give me that shit. They could have easily made it just a stone tablet. It's the Viking runes on a tablet, possessed. It's got a great design, good stats. It's a little bit, I think it's a basically physical Cofagrigus. Where I think it's literally the only stats I think that are any different is Cofagrigus' special attack is Runagrigus' physical attack. I think that's the only difference, and the ability works slightly differently, but not a lot. But I've wanted to use Runagrigus for a long time. Runagrigus is one of the Pokemon that I'm planning to use when I eventually get around to playing Pokemon Sword. I want to try this thing out. It looks like a ton of fun. I like ground types, but no, I love ground types. Runagrigus, you are a great mon. I'd say you get a high A tier, because I want to use you so much. Brick wall of a Pokemon. Should be a rock type, and that loses it out some points. But really cool. Really fun. I like the idea of it. And it's an absolute tank of a Pokemon as well. So. Ah, yes. Dreepy, Dracloak, and Dragapult. I finally used you. I have finally used this Pokemon. I finally got a chance. In doubles UU. This thing is in there. And I used it on my team as my final spot. Tried both Choice Scarf and Choice Banded version. I end up using Choice Banded more often because it was hitting a little bit too soft to really do it. It was very good as like a closer with Scarf on, but I like it being able to hit a bit harder. I like this thing a lot. It's very fun. Yeah. So you are getting, with all of you, I'd say the baby there. The middle here. The Papa? Here. I really, really like this one. Still not dropping any of my top spots for my pseudos. But people know I love pseudo legendaries, don't get me wrong. But I do very much love Dragapult. Actually, you know what? I'll put you above the cute trio because I said they're very comparable. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I like Dragapult a lot. So yeah, Dragapult just behind the big, like, top segment. Or behind the runners-up for the top segment, I'd say. I'd say that's a comfy spot for them. Genuinely. I don't think that feels bad in any way. Spectria, I'm going to be honest, I don't really like Spectria. I don't say I dislike it enough to put it in D tier, necessarily. Yes, I did see your message about the Eternamax Eternatus fused with Mewtwo, and that sounds horrible. To say the least. But yeah, Spectria is fine. I don't really like it. I prefer Glastria. Glastria seems more interesting. Spectria is just fast, hard-hitting ghost type. So, it is a horse, and I do like horses, which do get it up a few points. So I'd put it in... Do I want to put it... Actually, no, I'm putting you in C. Nah, fuck it. Hell yeah. It works. Yeah, see, I don't really like Spectria. I've said before. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it is good. But I don't like it. Now we get to the interesting one. Calyrex Spectria. Now, Shadow Rider Calyrex. Shadow Rider Calyrex. Normally, I'm not really one who judges a Pokemon by its competitiveness in a negative light. Right? But I will say, Calyrex Spectria is a mistake. So, here's the thing that I've got. I will 100% say, when Terra goes away, Calyrex Spectria will not be as busted as it currently is. But this Pokemon is obscenely broken. There's a reason this thing is banned from Ubers. This thing is in the same tier as Mega Rayquaza. Just think about that. This is a normal-ish Pokemon that's in the same tier as Mega Rayquaza. Right? This is such a colossal, immediate ban of a Pokemon. I do not like this Pokemon. This mon, genuinely right here, is the reason why I am not bothering to do the current VGC at all. I tried it. This thing is obscene. Mostly with Terra. Because basically this thing okay, imagine this. What it's got is a special attack stat and speed stat comparable to Deoxys, right? It's got, I believe, a comparable special attack stat to Deoxys attack and a 150 speed stat, which I believe is the same as Deoxys attack, right? But Deoxys attack is made of paper, right? One quick attack will kill Deoxys attack immediately. This thing's bulky as well. This thing is tough. Not only that, it's Ghost Psychic, meaning it's immune to most of the priority moves in Pokemon. And it's 150 speed and bulky, so it's probably not dying in one hit. And I don't think there's a single priority move that's super effective against it. As you know, there's one, Shadow Sneak, right? Which is quite effective. Don't get me wrong. It's quite effective. We'll probably kill it. However, if you see a mon on your opponent's team that's going to Shadow Sneak it, you Terra, making it probably resistant to whatever you just hit it with. This mon right here is one of the reasons why Terra needs to go away. Right there. This Pokemon is designed with massive weaknesses in mind. Like Lunala. Lunala is also, it's the same typing. Lunala is also quad weak. To the same things. It's quad weak to Dark, quad weak to Ghost. These are the reasons why Pokemon types exist. Because you can make a Pokemon super broken, and you give it a type, which means it's got a weakness. It needs an Achilles heel. There needs to be something as a negative for it. Calyrex Spectria has no weaknesses. None. At all. Because the only thing that you can do is a move, which you are going to force it to Terra. But the thing is, Calyrex Spectria, after Terroring, is faster than anything you've got. There isn't specifically, like, something like Flutter Mane, when it's gone specifically for Flutter Mane speed. And you have used, like, either the Sun or, Booster Energy to give it the speed boost. This thing will outspeed and one-shot your entire team, and there's nothing you can do about it. Genuinely nothing you can do about it. So I really dislike this Pokemon. So Calyrex Spectria, Calyrex Glastrier got a really high ranking. You are bottom of C tier, barely not D tier, because basically it's mechanics of the game that make me hate you, rather than you actually being bad as a Pokemon. I absolutely think this is a mistake of a Pokemon to exist, though. 100%. And also, by the way, just so you guys know, whenever you drop an opponent's Pokemon, this Pokemon gets stronger because of the ability it's got, basically. Because it's got as one with Grimnay. So it's basically, you're not allowed to eat berries in front of it, and every time it gets a kill, it gets a special attack boost. This thing has got an absurd special attack stat off the bat. In fact, I'll get you its stats up, just so you guys can gauge here. Shadow Rider Calyrex. Shadow Rider Calyrex has a modest 100 health, so tough. 85 attack, doesn't matter, it's not a physical attacker. 80 defense, not great, but not bad. 165 special attack, which is higher than Mewtwo. 100 special defense and 150 speed. That's its stat line. You can give it items. It's busted. It's brokenly strong, and I don't like it. I don't really like its design. Yeah, it's one of the most powerful Pokemon of all time. Genuinely. With Terra, this thing is busted. Genuinely. This thing is busted. It competes with a lot of Mega Pokemon just outright when there aren't Megas in the game to keep it in check. With Megas in the game to keep it in check, I still think this would be one of the most powerful Pokemon ever. Terra is its main thing, though. Terra is the main problem that it's got, why it exists. Because Terra means you can get rid of its double quad weakness. That's the reason why you're lucky to not be in D tier, because the only reason why you are this particularly despised and broken is because Terra exists. So when Game Freak gets rid of Terra, this thing will still be broken, but nowhere near as bad. Because, by the way, for reference, you Terra this thing Fairy, basically making it resistant to one of its previous quad weaknesses, and not care about the other one. And you then get Stab, Draining Kiss, or Dazzling Gleam, which is another really powerful couple of moves. You either get Draining Kiss for healing, so you still don't die, or you give it Dazzling Gleam to nuke your opponents harder. So, yeah. Nasty Pokemon, don't like it. Basculegion, both Basculegions are pretty cool. I will give them decent reviews. I'd say both of them in, like, good B tier. I'd put them there. The white stripe one is better. I like the pink one better, the male one. The white one is significantly better, and the problem I have, if male Basculin doesn't have good moves what it wants to be. It doesn't have many good physical, outside of the, I think it gets Last Respects, which is broken, for reference. Actually, no, doesn't it get Last Respects? Does Basculegion get Last Respects? It might. Yes. Basculegion gets Last Respects with adaptability, which is insane. But Last Respects is banned in most modes that aren't Ubers. So, yeah. It's very good with Last Respects. The female one's just better generally outside of Last Respects. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of Last Respects because it puts it into the closer Pokemon, which to me, there's Pokemon I prefer to use as a closer, like King Gambit, Roaring Moon, and a few other big final boss sweeper kind of mons. Raging Bolt. There's mons which I prefer as the final boss mon on my team to abusing Basculegion, but Basculegion is a very good one, and I really like it, and it is very cool. Not really for me, though. I know a lot of other people who would love it much more than me. Now we get to the joy of Gen 9, which I have a beloved spot for Gen 9. Gen 9 has a lot of amazing Pokemon in it. So, let's go through these quick, because we're actually a bit past time. We're going a bit over on this one. But I did start slightly late, so I don't think it's a problem. How long have we been streaming for? There we go. 1 hour and 3/4. Okay, we're comfy. And I can go a little bit over, it's fine. Yes. So, Skeledirge, my second favourite fire starter of all time. After Charizard himself. I don't really need to hide this one, do I? People know I love Skeledirge. Skeledirge, I'd say, is here. I really like this mod. It's sick. Really fun to use. Absolute delight of a Pokemon to use, genuinely. Big fucking tank, unaware. Has its own set itself up moves. It's tanky. It's got a good typing. Fire Ghost is a fun type, as I've done before. Skeledirge is great, and I really love this Pokemon, so very well deserved spot there. Once again, just outside of the big runners-up. So, and above, and around where Dragapult is. I'd say put it a little bit above Dragapult, and I'd say that's a fair one for me. But yeah, it's great. Cerulege. Now, I will say this right now. Cerulege is an amazingly cool Pokemon. Absolute chad of a Pokemon. Really, really cool. Really good abilities. Everything about it is sick. I love it. But for me, I do know your thoughts. Yeah, you love this thing. It's not... I prefer Armor Rouge. I think I told this before. I like Armor Rouge more than Cerulege. I will say Cerulege is great, and for ghost types, I will put Cerulege here. It is an S tier. Do not get me wrong, it is an S tier. But for me, I think Armor Rouge is more fun to use. Cerulege is a bit gimmicky. In a good way, I will say. Its gimmick is fun. And it's a very good Pokemon and a slick design. But I like Armor Rouge a bit more for the same kind of job. Armor Rouge, for me, fits more as a team Pokemon, where Cerulege is just a solid Pokemon in its own right. But for the role that I want them to play, I actually want the team Pokemon, weirdly, in this particular case. I've had a lot of fun with both of them, but I had more fun using my weakness policy Armor Rouge rather than my Focus Sashed Cerulege. Largely because my Focus Sash Cerulege was very, very good, don't get me wrong, and probably the better of the two. But I really liked the Armor Rouge one. I don't know. It's a bit of a change for me, personally, but I liked it. Bramblin and Bramblegast, you're both pretty fine. But not really for me, again. You're fine. That's all I can really give you. You're C tiers. You're alright. I've tried making you work. You're alright. Now, I will put this as a statement right fucking here. Graveyard. Graveyard. And Houndstone. I will state this as a fact. Houndstone is going to go where this mon belongs. In a very good spot. It's an A tier. It's a good mon. I like it. Very, very powerful. I'd probably put you about here. Very, very powerful. Very, very good. Fun Pokemon to use. Right? Very fun. It's a dog, which also gets a lot of points. Should be a rock type. But we'll let it go for now for this one. But this one really should have been a rock type. It's Mono Ghost. There's no excuse for this one. It's a fucking Tombstone dog. It really, really, really should have been a Ghost Rock type. I will say that as a statement. I will die on that hill. Graveyard, however, I thought you were a really cute little puppy. I thought you were adorable, and I really liked you. Until you spawned in the fucking white-ass snow in Pokemon Scarlet. You're almost invisible to see in that game. And you spawn everywhere under the ground as a tiny little candlelight that is white on a white background. You are an annoying little shit purely for the game. You have gone into my enmity box forever because of how many times I've gone, just fuck off, you little bastards. This Pokemon, it's a fine Pokemon, but my god does this thing piss me off walking around in Scarlet Violet. It just aggravates me so much. I have fought and slaughtered hundreds of these little bastards in Pokemon Scarlet because they just get in the way. Genuinely. So you are a D tier purely through vitriol. You're a high D tier because you're only here for that reason, but I can't forgive it. Of course Annihilape's S tier. Annihilape is one of the best mons they've ever made. Annihilape himself. I will put Annihilape right there. Right fucking there. Just outside of my top ones. It is a comfy one in the runner-up category. Along with regular Giratina, Dawnwings, Necrozma, Skeledirge, and Dragapult. It's got good attack. I don't think it's weirdly that high. It's less than you'd think. It's hilarious for Annihilape. I think it's 130? It's even less. It's 115. Which is good, right? Annihilape has got a good attack stat. But nothing crazy. There's like 5 less than Dragapult, which has also got a good but not great attack stat. But the thing about Annihilape, which makes it really good, is you build this thing bulky because it's got Defiant, which is great. Defiant's a great ability to have. Because basically it means that if anything lowers its stats, it gets an attack boost. Including Intimidate. It gets sharp, there is attack stat. Which is great. which hilariously means it's a one-stage boost from having its attack stat lowered by Intimidate, which is great. Really good for doubles. But what makes this thing crazy is you build this thing tanky, and it gets a irresistible pair of moves. One of it's a unique move to it. So it gets, obviously, Drain Punch. Really good. You build this thing bulky, it can heal itself. Really good. But what makes it crazy is Rage Fist. Rage Fist is a 50 power move. It gets a lot of attack moves, but the two it cares about are Drain Punch and Rage Fist. Rage Fist is its unique move. And what it is, it's a 50 power ghost move. Punching move. Which doubles, which gains 50 power. So for the first time, it gets, for every time Annihilate is hit. So the first time Annihilate gets hit, which is not super fast, so it's probably going to get hit first. Also use it to go bulk up. Also, yes, its lore is amazing. Annihilate's lore is literally a Primeape got so angry it died. But it kept going because its body couldn't contain its rage anymore, which is why it looks like that. One of the best Pokemon ever for that alone. And Rage Fist goes from 50 power to 100 power to 150 power to 200 power to 250 power exponentially. I don't believe it ever has a limit as long as the Annihilate is alive. Meaning that this, and also, because of how it works, Ghost and Fighting cannot be resisted by anything that's not specifically Hisuian and Zoroark. Hisuian and Zoroark is immune to both. Nothing else resists both. Because both are immune by a different type. Because fighting type moves are immune by Ghost. Ghost types are immune to fighting types like Drain Punch. So, yeah. It's Super Saiyan died, yeah. Also, Fighting Ghost is a very good combo. It's a really, really good Mon. It's just a bulky beast. Genuinely. It's a great, great, great Mon. And also, you give this thing bulk up. Basically, this thing, you run it leftovers, massive health, usually a big chunk of special attack. Give it bulk up, Rage Fist, Drain Punch, and another move. The other move, there's a lot of other options. You can give it Ice Punch if you want to deal with dragons or anything. Give it Knock. It gets Knockoff. Give it Knockoff. Why not? Knockoff works on everything. There's a lot of really good moves you can give this thing. It's very solid. You can give this thing a lot of very, very good abilities, which just make it very, very nice. Usually give this thing leftovers. You don't really need to invest in its attack too much because you can bulk up and do that. And it's not like they can really lower your attack stat because of Defiant. So, it's just a very, very good Mon at everything. There's a reason it's Ubers. This thing is nuts. Its stats are good all round. Its lowest stat is its special attack, which is not a stat that matters in any way. So, yeah, Annihilate is great. One downside for it, terrible shiny. Same as Gengar. Doesn't really change in shiny at all. Same as Gengar and Garchomp. I don't know why Game Freak insists on doing some of the coolest Pokemon, giving him terrible shinies. But, hey, what can you do? Still 6 get fuck no. It's basically already a Mega. It's already Mega Primeape for all intents and purposes. It don't need a Mega. And Annihilate is basically already a Mega Pokemon. It does not need to be anything more than what it is. It's a great Pokemon. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Genuinely. Doesn't need it. Megas should be for Pokemon that either they want to make over the top as hell. So, like, give a pseudo to make it something absurd. Or to give it to a bad Pokemon to make it better, like Mawile. Or Kangaskhan, where they made both of them broken. So that's what they should do. They don't need to do it with Annihilate. Annihilate is fine on his own. And also, I don't think they're going to do it because Annihilate just came out, and I don't think they're going to make any just came out. Like, I don't think any Gen 9 Pokemon are getting Megas, basically. Maybe one, but I don't think it's going to be Annihilate. Now we get to my beloved. Remember earlier where I said it'd be weird if they made a uber-powerful Pokemon beyond imagining that had the design of Misdrevious, more powerful than Mismagius, and was a really good Ghost Fairy type, which is one of the best type combos in Pokemon. Be weird, right? Then they made Fluttermane. Fluttermane, one of my 3 favorite Paradox Pokemon, which are already Pokemon I really like because the past Paradox Mons, the Dynamons, are great in their own veins. And Fluttermane, my first shiny Paradox as well. I got a shiny Fluttermane before I finished the story of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. By accident, wasn't looking for it, was looking for a normal Roaring Moon, and I found a shiny Fluttermane. Elphaba, my beloved monster, my favorite ghost type as of Gen 9, and will probably stay that way, genuinely. I adore Fluttermane. Fluttermane is broken. I will fully say that as a fact. Fluttermane is an obscenely good mon. She's obscenely good. I love this thing so much. She's such an absurd powerhouse of a Pokemon. I also like, by the way, how my S tier is lined up, that Fluttermane and Mischievous are directly above each other. So you can see, like, the comparison. Yeah. I love Fluttermane. I genuinely do. My new favourite, Ghost. It took a lot. I was basically trying to figure, it's like, is she my favourite? It's like, yeah, she is. I love it. I love its design. It's absurdly broken in its power. It's nuts. One of the most powerful Pokemon ever made. But not a legendary. On par with a lot of legendaries, though. Is a comfy spot of the very, very powerful Paradoxes, right? Fluttermane to me is what a Paradox Pokemon kind of exemplifies. A very, very powerful idea of a Pokemon that is designed to work it from a baseline and make it more. And that's exactly what Fluttermane is. I love this thing. It's got absurdly good moves. You can make it busted with its ability. It's a great typing. It just ticks every box, genuinely. It's got a good shiny. I like its regular form color scheme more than the shiny, but I had a shiny Fluttermane, so I was going to use a shiny Fluttermane. I used it in the first DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and this thing was the absolute monster. This thing beat every single fight that even vaguely became a problem. I don't think I lost a single bout in the first DLC of Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Partially because I had a Fluttermane. Even the only one that actually gave me any problems, which I actually went, I think, 10 levels lower or something like that, into the final Oni battle. The literal final boss of the extra storyline. Fluttermane got me through that as well. Fluttermane is an obscenely good Pokemon. Beautiful design. Great sound effects. Great move pool. Everything. Ticks every box. Ticks every box. Also, I love its stat line is literally 55, 55, 55, 135, 135, 135. Which I just like. I just love it. So, very cool. Gimmighoul! Little Gimmighoul. Normal Gimmighoul. And Goldengo. I will say these Pokemon are obscenely powerful, right? Goldengo is broken. It's another nuts Gen 9 Ghost. Good as Gold is a terrifying ability. Can't be statused, immune to any like stat lowering moves. This thing is nuts. But I really like its design. I think it looks like the cheese string guy. But it's great in every other aspect. I think its design is mid. I do like the design of Gimmighoul, though. I think Gimmighoul is kind of cool. And Goldengo is supposed to look like a trophy. I get it. I don't really like it. I think I would have preferred a different design for it. I would have preferred a proper mimic-looking design. But sure, its power makes up for it. I don't really like its design, but it's very, very strong. And in this particular case, competitive power makes up for a kind of meh design. Because it's that good and that fun to use. Sinistcha and Poltergeist, I will put you in a comfy B tier. Because you are pretty cool. I like the idea. Matcha Gotcha is an amazingly named ability still. For its move. It's a really fucking broken move as well. But yeah, it's great. It just is. Not really my personal vibe, though. But I know how strong this Pokemon can be. I have lost to this Pokemon. This Pokemon is one of the burn Pokemon, basically. It gets heat proof. This is a Pokemon that is kind of pseudo-fire type. It's pseudo fire type, pseudo water type, and it's a grass ghost type. So it's kind of a really just neat idea for a mon in general. Very good mon, just generally. Genuine, just a very, very good mon. And a pretty solid design. Not really a one for me, but solid. And I massively prefer it to its other version. Even if the thing is aggravating, also this Pokemon is one of the Pokemon that I say Strength Sap needs a significant nerf. Significant nerf. It needs to have its healing cut down by like 75%, and then maybe it'd be balanced. Then we have the very, very powerful, as I talked about last week, the only other poison ghost on this list besides Gengar's line, Pecharunt. Pecharunt's good. It is very good. Yeah, I'll put you in A tier. Low A tier. But I think it deserves A tier. It's cool. This is one that I prefer for its job. I like Toxapex more for the same job. Essentially. But it is a very, very good Pokemon in its own right. And it's got a cool design. It's a fun little thing. Yeah, it's cool. And I love its sealed in form more. I think it's way cuter than its angry real form. But hey, it's a great mon. What can I say? And yeah, that is the ghost type tier list. I will put it to just here so everyone can take a gander at it, as is usual at the end of one of these streams, where I will just show off the entire list. I am very happy with this tier list, genuinely. You get to see, like, I have good reasoning for every spot, pretty much, I've got on here. And I'm very satisfied with how it kind of turned out. As I love ghost-type Pokemon. Ghost types are great. There's a lot of very, very fun ghost types that are just phenomenally powerful and very, very cool. They are one of the better all-round types, I'd say, in Pokemon, which is why the vast majority are B or above. Genuinely. But there's a lot of... There are a good few kind of meh ghosts, or ghosts I dislike. In most cases, it's ghosts I dislike, rather than bad Pokemon. They're all good. You can make every single ghost in Pokemon work. Some are better at it than others. Some are too good at it. And is one of the main reasons why I think Terra should be removed from Pokemon. And I'm very looking forward to the next game where Terra is not in Pokemon, regardless of what other gimmick comes from it. But yeah, that's all we got time for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know what we'll be playing. We'll be playing something, I'm sure. But yeah, there'll be tomorrow, which will be something random. There'll be a short 1 hour stream on Wednesday because we are starting our new Pathfinder game. We'll be starting Season of Ghosts, which I'm looking forward to. Thursday will be another random thing. And then Altera is once again having our actual episode coming back from the last recap episode, which was last week. So do tune in to episode 110 of Altera, which is up on the YouTube channel now, along with last week's tier list. If you want a general purpose recap of the past 109 episodes of Altera, episode 110 is a full recap episode. So, yeah, you guys get to tune in and it will be a good time. But yes, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Have a fantastic evening, everyone who keep playing video games, giving us some gas. All the best for Twitch. Enjoy yourselves, guys. Have a lovely time and a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Good night. See ya. Catch you later, next.